In this video, we're going to get started on installing the brake master cylinder. Alright, so since the last video, a few things what I have done. I've just installed the two headlights. I made a video before the vehicle was painted about headlights and the parts that are in those. So if you need to know how to install them, have a look at that. What else have I done? This section that holds the temperature and oil gauge, what I actually needed to do is the way that bracket mounts on, I had to sort of shift it back underneath the assembly, and the reason for that is because the gear selector, when engaging gear first or third, it would hit into it. So it's not an issue where it is now, and you can perfectly see the gauges from the driver's position. It might sort of just cut off the top of it, but it's more to do with practicality, that things aren't bashing into each other. Alright, so we'll start off by installing the brake master cylinder. Just before I install those trays, the dash trays and these cover bits, just to make sure things are work, because when I do bleed the brakes, I need to double check any connections to make sure none of them are leaking. And I'll just check out the clutch. Everything looks okay on that. There's no leaks. That spring that I put on here ended up breaking, so I'll have to order a new one. It was just too rusted on the tip. Alright, so we'll install the master cylinder first, and then connect that to the actual pedal. Alright, so with these master cylinders, the clutch and brake master cylinder are two different units. They're not interchangeable. You will actually notice, if you see them side by side, hold the canisters together, and then you'll see that the actual base is completely different. So I've got on here a gasket. I'm going to install that gasket first, and then to make things a bit easier, I will position this how it's meant to go, and then just rotate that bit at the bottom so it will slide over the pedal. You can actually see the top of the pedal there, and align it so it goes straight in there. Alright, so before I bolt that down, I'll just check to make sure that's installed on the pedal, and then install the clevis pin. Okay, so again, just like installing the clutch, when you don't have any of the dash parts in the way, the clevis pin will just go straight through that hole here. You might need to press down on the pedal slightly to get it to go in there. Okay, so now that clevis pin is installed, we just need to do up these nuts. And I'll just grab a spanner to tighten them. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, that's bolted in now, before I put any fluid in there, is just construct a brake pipe from that point there to go up and down to here. And I'm just sort of thinking the way that it should go up, just based on photos, it goes up, across, and then back down, and then across, and then into there. So I'm going to try that sort of path, because that's what they look like in the images. Okay, so that's my attempt at getting the pipe. I haven't fully screwed these down, but that seems to fit okay. Probably would be better if it came a bit lower here, but we're not going to be too fussy. It would be hard to get the joiners on if that was the case. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is add some brake fluid into here. We'll fill that up about halfway. When we're actually bleeding it, I will be using this particular bottle because it keeps your fluid at a particular level. Just need to go, yeah, that's plenty. And also I want to add some brake fluid into here. But just, we're only adding a small amount because it will pretty much pump it straight away. Okay. I have spilt some down the back, so I'll get some paper towel. Just to make sure we can soak up anything that comes out. Okay, so what I want to do now is just very carefully press that brake pedal, and you'll notice bubbles will come out of here. I might just bring you so you can see. Alright, so you can see a bit of fluid in the top there. When I press on the brake pedal, you'll see some bubbles forming and coming out. So the purpose of doing this is just to get fluid into where the piston is. Alright, so what I want to do now is I'm just going to insert this bit of brake line, and the purpose of doing this is just to test to make sure that this master cylinder is actually working. You could get creative if you want and make the end of this pipe go back into there, but just for the purpose of this I will just waste a bit of fluid. Okay, that's good for us. So all we're going to be doing here, I'm just going to bend that a bit, and I want to position this somewhere where I don't have to keep holding it, so I'll just get a container. Okay, so in this setup, what I want to do is I'm just going to use my fingertip on there. So first of all, press down, hold the end, let go, press down, release the pressure. I can hear the air building up, and just keep repeating that cycle where you press down, let go, cover the end, let go of the brake pedal, press down. I've just done that a few cycles and it seems to be okay. Might just be running low on fluid now. I'll just top up that master cylinder. But you get the idea, that's sort of how to test it to make sure the actual master cylinder works. Okay, so I have reattached this pipe to there now. The next thing I need to do is start bleeding the brakes and then just check the whole system for any leaks. Okay, so we've got the brakes bled now, and I'm just pushing that in my hand, but that's nice and firm. And what you had to make sure you do, because this vehicle has front drum brakes, you need to make sure you get them adjusted correctly. Turn those square screws until the wheel's sort of just rubbing. Get them adjusted first, because that greatly affects the pedal travel. And I was having issues with the bleeding too. No leaks so far, so that's pretty good. I ended up just bleeding each wheel. What I actually used was this vacuum brake bleeder. You might have seen this in one of my previous videos. So that actually connects to the air compressor, and then connect that to the brake line or the bleeder valve, and then it just draws through the fluid. So that actually worked good, just to, for the rear left wheel to get fluid right through the system, and then just using the method where just bleeding each individual pedal just to get the air out of it. I did it myself. I just used a block of wood from push down, and then a few bits of wood in here just to lever in that one piece of wood pushing the brake pedal, and then open and then close the actual valve on each wheel. That's pretty more effective than these kits which come with like a thing like that. They never seem to work. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got this the braided material which gets installed on the bonnet, so on this section here where the bonnet closes onto, and I used to actually think they were just like rubber pads that people used to stick on them. I didn't realise it was a braided cord, and then I saw this in the in the online website as something to order, and then that's where I sorted it out. So it's actually longer than what it needs to be. My guess is it probably each end gets tied into a knot. I'm just not too sure. But the way I'm going to do it, I'm just going to weave it in and out, and then just see how it fits. I'll just get these side panels fitted. Now that, well, this, I might need to take it off to sort out that fuel hose if I want to do that a different way. But just to make sure everything goes back together and sits nicely. I'm having a struggle getting this panel on. That screw doesn't align, and like it's just really difficult because I never actually tried fitting these before everything got painted. I just assumed that it would all fit, and maybe that's just normal. Alright, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching my videos.